Hi, welcome back. My name is Nitemba, and today I'm going to talk about the realities of moving abroad. It's not what you think it's like. I agree. The realities are different. People have different experiences, but it's not like Emily in Paris, right? So I think what I thought was okay, because I watched Emily in Paris as well, or you watch a nice video on social media about someone who took that, like, uprooted all their lives and like moved to a different country, and they show videos of you walking around the streets of Europe eating a bagel and bumping into the love of your life at a grocery store, or and then you fall in love and you live happily ever after. That is not true. It really isn't, right? And I think the first thing that I thought was going to happen, and the first thing that everyone thinks is going to happen, is that when you move to a different place, you will like sort of change your life. That's not true. And let's talk about the reasons why that is not true, right? I feel like the first one is you won't just become a different person, right? All the flaws that you had in your country, in your home country, all the insecurities, all the the bad habits, everything that you had that made your life slightly less comfortable than you would like, you will still have it in a different country. Think about it. Just because I got on a plane and I saw the clouds and then I landed at a different location doesn't mean that I'm a different person. And I agree, like when you're at the airport, and when you're in the sky, I think I had a video about it as well, like what I was thinking while I was in the sky. You think, oh my gosh, it's going to be amazing. I feel so good. I'm doing something so impactful. I'm doing something so huge. And then you land, and then you go through the gates at the airport, and they ask for your passport and they ask for your visa, and you're like, this is real life. And then now your anxieties come. You're like, but I thought when I moved to this country I'm gonna stop being anxious. But then your anxiety comes up and you're like, I'm still anxious, and you feel bad about the way you look, or you're like, I still have insecurities about the way I look. So moving to a different place is not gonna change who you are, right? And I don't think the movies really tell you that. I don't think they tell you that you will still remain the person that you were. It's often like, oh, if you move locations you're gonna be different. You really won't. So that's the first one, right? And the second one is you will be lonely, especially if it's like a country that doesn't speak the language that you speak. For example, I moved to Belgium and no one here speaks it's a French speaking town, so very few people speak English, and that is very lonely on its own. Moving around and not being able to communicate with people, even if you bump into someone in like on the stairs or in the on the streets or in like hallways, and you try to say hi and they speak in French, you're like, oh, I don't speak French, and they're like, oh, sorry, and you're like, that you could have just spoken to that person, you could have told you about an experience, you could have given you tips on how to navigate the city or the place, but you cannot do that because you don't speak the language, and that can be very lonely. And I think the cause loneliness is you won't have your friends for like the first 3-4 weeks, and you probably won't be making friends, especially if you're someone who is introverted or like who struggles to like make friends. You won't make friends for the first 3 weeks, and what are you gonna do? You will feel lonely, right? And you'll try to call your family. Yeah, it will help a little bit, and sometimes people are busy with their lives, and you're going to feel extremely lonely, and it's going to suck, right? So that's not the glamorous picture that the internet and social media and television sells to us. They don't tell you that you're going to be lonely. In fact, the loneliness there looks very aesthetic, and everyone is like, oh my gosh, I'm enjoying the air, I'm enjoying just walking on my own. But it's not like that. You will be lonely. And I think another reason is you will be building your life from scratch, in a sense. What I mean by that is, in your country you already have your systems. You already know where you get your bread. You already know where you get your clothes. You already know how to get from point A to point B. Here, or like in a different country, you really won't know anything. It's insane. Like you will realize very quickly that, oh my gosh, I don't know anything. In order for him to get to point A to point B, from point A to point B takes so much research. It's so time consuming, and it even like takes the fun out of it, right? If you say in your country, even if you want to try out, say, painting, and you know that you might not know a lot of painting places, but you at least know the transport system, you at least know, in general, you can have a general sense and idea of how you might do that. But here or in a different country, it's not the same. You're just gonna have to like figure it out, and that's like uprooting your life. It's hard. It really is hard. And another thing is that comparison. You will constantly compare your experience to expectation. It may not be social media in this case, it might be expectation. You'll be like, by week 5 or by week 3, I expected to have had friends. I expected to have done so much things. I've expected to have figured out at least 13 of the stuff that I need to figure out. You know what I mean? And that won't be reality, unfortunately. Like, expectations are not reality, and what you saw on social media is not reality. So I feel like, the whole thing of just going to a place because you want to get something from it it's very dangerous, because if you don't, it's going to be so heart shattering. So if I had come here with no expectations and I expected this, and I knew that it was gonna suck, and I knew that I was rebuilding my life, and I knew I was gonna be lonely, probably would have felt slightly better than how I felt when I first got here, which was really, really like sad and depressed. So because of those expectations, it sort of tainted my experience here, which was not a good thing, right? So is it all just bad news? Is it all just terrible? Well, no, it really isn't. Because with these things being said, with these bad, terrible things that I expressed, some of them, because I think there's many more, there was light. And what is the light? The light is those things, whatever, uprooting your life, starting over, having to learn how to communicate with people from scratch, will force you to learn things about yourself and fix them. For example, I was forced to deal with my anxiety, right? At home, you can just not go to places and be like, I just want to go, right? Because that you say that, but the reason why you do it, well, for me, the reason why I didn't want to go was because I'm just anxious, and I'm trying to think of all the hurdles that are gonna come, all the uncertainty that comes with just me going to a new place. But yeah, I didn't have a choice. Don't have a choice. If I don't figure out a way to get to the grocery store, I won't eat. So I was forced to deal with my anxiety. That was a game changer. It was uncomfortable at first, obviously. I will forever be an anxious person, but I feel like when I got here, it sort of forced me to deal with it, right? And it forces you to live in reality, right? You at some point you will ditch the expectations. You will go, you know what? I'm probably not gonna meet Prince Charming, who is 6 foot tall and with broad shoulders and has a nice accent. That's fine. And you probably won't make a million friends and go clubbing. That's fine. But then what else? That is gonna force you to find the other things that you're gonna like about being here and being in a different country and the experience, right? That is also good. And you get to have stories to tell, right? What I'm doing right now. The only way you can have stories to tell, the only way you can have things to say, or you can have ways to know what you like and don't like, is to experience them. So that experience, difficult as it may be, can be also invaluable. So what is the takeaway here? If you are to move to a different country, if you are to just don't have the expectation that you have, right? There are a lot of things that are nuanced that you can't put in a video, that people won't be able to put in a video. For example, they will show you when they're in the market, but they won't show you the process of getting to the market, or that maybe you haven't even, for example, when you get to the airport, you need to have euros if you're going to Europe, or you need to have pounds if you're going to London, or you need to have dirhams if you're going to Dubai. All those small things about security, about how things work, how the life works, it's very difficult to get them in. Maybe TikTok, I think, is probably doing a better job in doing that now, and telling you the processes. But when you're going to a country, especially if you're me, you don't really go into that aspect of research. You just go to, oh, it's gonna be Europe, oh, it's gonna be fun, I'm gonna love it. But yeah, those nuances, and they do change your mood, and they do change your outlook. So I do think that there is value in sort of understanding it's not gonna be like social media, and that's okay, right? So like I said, do it if you think of moving to a different country. If you get an opportunity to, don't be afraid. It's gonna suck, it might suck, but you might also learn things that you didn't expect to learn from it, right? That's it from me. I hope you enjoyed the video. You watched till the end. If you liked it, please click like and subscribe. I'll see you on the next one.